Hello, everybody. This is your host, Fahizi Farhan Bande Ali, and welcome to this episode of the Get Out of Your Comfort Zone. I'm so excited for today's episode. It is going to be with a very special human. So stay tuned because Yasemin should be joining at any moment now. Also, do you like my outfit? This is a traditional outfit. I recently found it in one of my family members' closet. And there is Yasemin. Hello.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm good, Yasmin. How are you?
Good. Is it too loud? Can you hear me fine?
Oh yeah, I can hear you just fine. I don't know about the audience, but I can hear you just fine.
I hope
Well, thank you so much for making the time to join us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited to see you, by the way. You're in Boston now? Or no, Miami.
Miami.
Yeah. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Is it hot over there?
Oh yeah, it's super hot, but super good.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. So, I would love to get started. And I'd love to begin by asking you to share, in illustrious detail, the, the story.
Love how we always laugh. Like it just starts out with laughter.
I love it because our laughter is going to make the audience laugh, like spontaneously. They're going to be like, why are we laughing? Let's just spend the next 5 minutes in meditative laugh. So tell us about the story of how we met.
Okay. I am here. All right. So let me tell you an illustrious detail about how we met. I was hiking Mount Beardstadt with one of my friends, and we were coming to the end, and it was roughly, I don't know, maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and
Mm.
you literally came from out of nowhere. Like, I'm not joking. Like, we were like, I was in pain because I was like so out of shape, and I was just like, oh my God, who is this random man with sunscreen all over your nose? And then you have like huge hat. Do you remember that? Like literally just a white strip. It was beautiful. And then you had this like huge hat on, and then you had your trekking poles, and it was like you were starting Mount Beardset at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, please don't. Like, there are clouds coming in. Like, what are you doing? So anywho, we were just chatting it up though, and like instantly, like we were like friends talking about everything because it was like you, me, Toku, and like literally, it was so incredible because everything that we said was just in common. And the best part too is that we walked back to our cars, and then we went to what is that place? It was in Georgetown, and it was on the creek. Oh yeah, and we had some wine next to the beautiful water, and oh yeah, it was a great time. And so yeah, I can't believe you came from out of nowhere. Like honestly, I was like not expecting that. And it was like so cool because you were so down to earth. And like I was like, all right, we're gonna be friends. So yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I actually remember that was one of the days where the reason why I was so late is because I had just finished with my sailing lesson and I
Hmm.
was like, I need to climb a mountain or some mountain or do some hiking. And I was definitely not trying to like climb all the way to the top. Um, but I was like, let's do a little something. But it's so funny that I was just so open to just meeting somebody because I very well could have seen myself just being in the zone and just continuing up, and we would never be having this.
Hmm.
And like this is gonna be here for eternity in like the most beautiful way, and it's gonna inspire people, I believe. And that wouldn't have happened if I would have just been focused on like hiking.
Well, you know what's really cool though is there was like this like light behind you. Like the sun wasn't setting or anything, but like just this like light, the way it came through the clouds, like it like came right over you. And like I'm not joking, you just saw like your hat and like you just had this huge smile, like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And like it was so good. And it was just like, oh, and you had like these high socks on, and you were just like covered like completely. You were like, "I'm not getting sunburned today." You were like so determined. It was so beautiful. It was so good. But I'm so happy you stopped for us because, like, yeah, day, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Thank you for sharing that. So with that, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Yasemin?
I am from Garden Grove. I'm half Turkish, and I've been a mountaineer for about like 10 years now, slowly in the excuse me. Like baby steps at a time, like literally like first like car camping, road tripping, like climbing small mountains here and there, you know? And then like eventually just like hitting the trails and just like not stopping. Like it was really cool because I remember one time I was like at Black Star Canyon. It's just like this 8 mile trail, but like I literally sprained my ankle at the at literally the excuse me at the waterfall of the trail, and I had to hike 4 miles back. And then I was like, I still had planned to do like 11 miles the next day to do Mount Baldy, which is like 11,000 feet, or excuse me, 10,000 feet. And anywho, like, yeah, and I was like so determined because I was like, I need to get this done. Like, so I wrapped up my leg and I took up like 4 ibuprofen and I just climbed the mountain. And I was just like, I want to do this. So I don't know, my like goals and aspirations in terms of that would be like, I want to climb all 7 summits one day. So just one step at a time, you know? So yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And so as part of that, and that's impressive that you've been sort of working towards, or as a mountaineer, but working towards your aspirations for the last 10 years, is truly a testament of devotion in a lot of ways, and to sort of um, be determined to continue a hike or to start a hike even after you've sprained is um, is definitely a sign of mental toughness, which is very important, not just for mountaineering, but life, really. So I definitely applaud you and look up to you in that regard. I guess I would love to hear, as part of like who Yasmin is today and this like mentally tough mountaineer, how did it all begin for you? Can you share with us your relationship with nature um, in early childhood? Like, when did it all begin? How?
There's like lots of instances. Like I'm really lucky because I grew up in California, so like we had like every sort of terrain at like literally your fingertips. It was really, really, really fucking cool. And I was extra lucky because like I had family in every different terrain. So like it was just like at my disposal. And so like uh excuse me, my dad, his boss had like a cabin. So we would go up like for every season, you know, fall, we'd go up for Christmas and like spring and summer. So even though they're not like the big mountains, like I actually got to see like all the seasons, and it's like in the back, like in my back door, you know what I mean? Like it was so cool. So like, excuse me, it's a little bit of that. And then a little bit of just like being able to like when you go out in nature, it really just challenges you in ways that, like, work can't. It challenges you in ways that, your family can't. It's like at the end of the day, I always have to tell myself, like, it's me who's going to get up and down this mountain. Even if, like, my friends are there, like, I have to do it myself. Like, I have to use my own 2 feet, excuse me. So, like, it's just like there's a lot of love for how much struggle you have to go through. Like, there's a lot of love of, like, how much, like, you have to really like just put yourself out there and just know that it's only going to be you, and like without like your without your like mental capacity, like you won't be able to get down the mountain sometimes, you know. And so it's just like making sure that like everything's going to be okay and making sure your partner's okay. And so it really creates like a really, really cool bond, like a bond that you don't share with other people. And sometimes like a bond that you don't even need to talk about, you know? It's like really beautiful. It's really crazy. And I really like love it because sometimes like there's some individuals that I only hike with, but like when we're on the mountain, like we know everything about each other because like nothing is said. But I know it because like we've been through so much stuff that like I know where they're at in life, or I know what's gonna happen. Like, does that make sense? You know? Like,
Yeah,
hmm
yeah. Why don't we talk a little bit about that, right? This sort of unspoken bond and this ability to get to know somebody in such a different light. Can you sort of um, think of one person, right, who you have this unspoken bond with, and share some of those experiences so that we may try to better understand? Because I think from like a relationship standpoint, with another human, that represents something so interesting. How do you feel about talking about that?
well, I think she knows who she is anyway. But yeah, my roommate had, and we've been through some crazy stuff, and like, it's really cool because, um, like, I've never met someone who's like a woman who's like just as crazy as me. So it's really cool because like, okay, so like we were on this mountain in Ontario. I don't know. Like seriously, I don't know why we did this. So anyway, so we went up Ontario Peak, like back in California, and we were like, "Hey, this route looks a lot shorter. Why don't we go down this route that's not maintained and has a lot of snow, and we don't have ice axes, and we don't have like crampons, and this is a really bad idea because we've technically never glaciated in our lives. So what are we doing?" And so, but anyway, so yeah, so we're on Ontario Peak. We go down the back route. We call it the dinner route because I was supposed to go to dinner and I didn't get to dinner on time. We didn't get home till like midnight. So anyway, so we're going down the backside and like literally like I hand her my trekking pole and then our other buddies with us and like literally I'm like, all right, so you just kind of go like this and just don't fall. And then so literally like we just keep going and like every time we go, we like there's a cliff and we don't know if we're gonna like cliff out or not. And so like every time we get to the cliff, we're just kind of stuck there and we're just like, okay, like what's the best route down? So then our buddy like Seth like guides us a little bit and then like we get to this point where we're literally bushwhacking and we don't really see the trail, the sun setting, and we all just kind of like take a moment to ourselves. Like I step off to the side and I'm just like, okay. And then I gather back and I like and then like I catch up and then eventually like I see like Heather in the back and like she's just like she's like literally just taking a moment to herself, so then I just keep walking and then like we all just kind of like eventually see that like see water bottles and we're like, oh my god, people. And like, literally it was like the breath, like the biggest breath of fresh air in our lives because like we like literally didn't know if like we were gonna get home tonight. And so literally so finally we get to this road, but there's like houses on this road and so we don't know like if they want us on our property, so we kind of like walking really fast and then eventually we get to the main road At this point, it's really dark, and thank God for those people on the road because they stopped for us and like they took us to our cars. Oh my God, thank you. It's literally, woo. But yeah, so yeah, Heather and I have a very close bond because like we just know that like we're capable of a lot of things, and like without her partnership, I don't think I would be able to like have gotten down that mountain. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
like anybody else, I don't know, but you know, we just thank God every day that we came down, and like literally I'm thankful for water. Like, you know. So
I
yeah,
bet. I bet.
it was a crazy thing.
And it's like, what is a moment like that sort of um when you were sort of making that decision, did you have any hesitation?
No.
Or was it there was no hesitation and whose idea was it?
Oh my God, because we were so tired. None of us had gotten sleep the night before. It was awful. I was like, whatever gets us down this mountain at this point. And it was like 14 miles or something. Like, it was a pretty long day. And so, no, there's no hesitation. Like, I think Seth was like, hey, is there like a shorter route? And then Heather looks it up and she's like, oh, yeah, I see one. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And then, oh, yeah. No, it was so much longer.
It was so much longer.
Yes,
Holy,
it was, and like it took us like I think it was like 11 hours. Like it shouldn't have taken us 11 hours. Like it should have taken us, I don't know, 8 hours. Like it shouldn't have taken. Yeah, it
yeah,
was. We were on the mountain a little too long.
wow. Now, um, basically what I understand is that you train to be an outdoor guide, right? So before we get into it, was this dinner route story before or after your training?
This is like after, in between, a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Hmm.
Before we get into it, so tell us a little bit about the training and what motivated you to like want to take this commitment on. And tell us a little bit about what it entails, like what is an outdoor guide?
Okay, so like an outdoor guide is basically just well, there's different types.
Okay.
There's like, ice climbing, there's regular climbing, there's
Okay.
like hiking. So there's a little different things. I would like specialize in just like regular everyday hikes. Maybe 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, just depending on whatever the individuals wanted. But excuse me, it was my own like want to do those things where I was just really like I don't like working inside. Like I really just like being outside. I'm a very like antsy person. Like I have a lot of energy. And like actually like I really thrive on like other people, and I really like when people are happy. Like I thrive on being happy, and so like being in an environment where I can share that like my own joy is like just double awesome, so it's just like benefits all around. And then personal training was just well, I first started with just like going to the gym, and I was literally in the gym like 6 days a week because I was just like pretty out of shape. And so I was determined to get into shape. And then once I felt like physically fit, I would start like messaging people like on Facebook or whatever to like, get out in order to just have like somebody to be with. And then once I felt comfortable and I learned like the mountains myself, like all my local mountains, I just kept going by myself. And then I would just do like more things. And then I would meet people, and then we would do like bigger things. And then I just kept going bigger and bigger, and I don't want to stop now. But yeah, and so also I just want to share that with other people because there's like people that want to do it and they can't, or like they're only capable of so much. So like I want to show them that like, all right, cool, like like one step at a time. Like we can do 2 miles today, and then 4 miles in 2 weeks, and then
Yeah.
eventually if you want to do 20 miles or 14, or if you want to do Denali, like whatever your goal is, like, let's help you get there. Because like I mean, possible. I've seen it happen. I've seen this 84-year-old dude on San Jacinto like handing us beers on his 84th birthday. Like it was awesome. So like
Wow.
whatever you want to do, like you can do, So like yeah. So I just want to be able to share that with people.
And what has, I guess, tell me about, sort of as a woman, I get the sense that like most other mountaineers you come across, like there's a gender imbalance, like more guys as opposed to girls, and what does that mean for you, as a woman, and like finding other women to sort of do this with or inspire?
I think that's a really great question. Because it is actually really difficult to like find other women to like climb with, mountaineer with. Um, yeah, there's like, yeah, they're in the gym, and yeah, it's like really coming up, and yeah, there's a lot more, but like, it's such like a niche, and like, not everybody wants to do this, and so like, it is kind of difficult, and so like when you do find a partner, you better keep them because, like, it's like a partner is like really important in this realm. Just for like literally like one thing, you never want to go alone. My dad always gets mad at me when I go alone, but yeah, yeah, one, you never want to go alone, and two, it's like again kind of it's like a mental game, so just to have like that support there. And three, if anything ever goes wrong, you just want them there, like you hurt an ankle and you don't know how to tie it or something, and like they can help you out, simple things like that. So yeah, it's difficult, but I mean, I've usually trained with more like men. um, that's just because like they're more on the trails and it's like easier to chat with, and like I think like other women also have partners too, so it's just like, oh, how do you find a partner? So I think that's the biggest thing, trying to find a partner.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
hopefully this and like, the work of other women mountaineers over time changes it to where a lot more women, to where just as many women, if not more women, than men are like, pursuing this passion and tapping into their sense of courage, fearlessness to, have that kind of relationship with Mother Nature.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think there are. I think there's like a ton out there. I just think
Mm.
it's like, how do you find them? Like, we're all like in different places. Like, we're in Nepal. We're like, I'm in Colorado. Like, other people are here, So it's just like, I think that's kind of the thing, It's like you see them and it's like, yeah, like Melissa Arnott, like she's a really badass, and I follow her religiously, and I'm just like, hell yeah. So I think also too, actually, I think a really good resource would be like Instagram, for example, is just like finding women who are doing it, and just looking up to them and seeing that they are doing it really encourages me because I know that I'm not at that level, but I want to be.
Yeah,
So if I just work as hard as them, then I can get there. And so like I just have to be just as due diligent as them, which is like something I really aspire to, So
yeah,
that's kind of like one thing at least I try is I find people in regards to like famous mountaineers. There's this freaking girl who's 24 and she's like on her fourth summit of like the seven summits, and I'm like, damn, can I be you,
wow,
please? So yeah, so I mean, there's again, there are a ton out there, but they're already like at certain levels. So I just
yeah,
like, have to work a little harder, and I'm down to work hard.
hell yeah.
Hmm.
So I know earlier, in our chat, you mentioned how one of your big aspirations is to sort of be able to accomplish the seven summits. Um, what do you have any other aspirations in the mountaineering or in the way that you want to share it with people, that you have as well?
Could you like give me an example? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, for sure. So, do you have any other dreams within mountaineering outside of summiting the seven peaks?
I see. Okay, okay. Yeah, of course, all the time. Like, I definitely like my friends and I were talking about a first ascent, like in Africa, Mozambique, like Mount Chaperone. Like, I was like, hell yeah. So, like, I'm down to do anything. I want to explore more. I want to see everything. I want
Yeah,
to do it all, like, like, and I want to see it like raw. I want to be like touching it. I want to feel it. I want to like go through the pain. Like, I don't know.
mm,
That doesn't so like I just want to sure me. and like, hell, you want it all. So if there's something, give it to me.
Yeah. So just now you mentioned about how you want to go through the pain. What is it about who you are as a person that seeks that pain out as it relates to maybe it's just mountaineering or outside like as part of your everyday life? Could you shed a little bit of light into that aspect of you?
I just feel like you just don't earn it if you don't go through a little pain, like in everything. Like I didn't like I don't know, I one of my friends says that I never choose the easy route. And I think it's so true. Cause like, I mean, what's it if everything's given to me? Like I don't want it given to me. I want it to be like worth it. Like I want it to be like I earned it. Like cool.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like cool. I paid to go do that expedition, or I worked really hard to fundraise to go to the expedition, or you know what I mean? And so it's like not that it's necessarily painful, like physically painful, but like, it's like I went and did it and I worked hard for it and I put all of my efforts into it. And even if I fail, then I still did it. Like, like, and so like, I don't know, it makes everything worthwhile. And I just want it to mean something, you know?
yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. And sort of in that same vein, sort of you must encounter fear. And I'm wondering, like in the lead up to a decision to do some kind of an adventure, do you ever feel any fear? Or has there been an episode in the past where you felt like there was some fear, and you pushed through it?
Um, yeah, there was, well, fear. Oh man, hell yeah. Okay, sorry. So like, well, okay. So I think a really good example was I just did Mount Whitney, which is super cool.
Mount what?
Mount Whitney.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the tallest contingent mount, or it's the tallest mountain in contingent USA. Excuse me. But anyway, so we like leading up to it was super super cool because we got a really cool send off from my family. Like we stayed at my parents' house in like the like beach area, and then we went to the desert and we stayed with my uncle, and like everybody was like, "Are you scared?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm scared." I'm like, "Why are we doing this?" Like because everyone's like, oh yeah, like the final 400 has like the most fatalities, and I'm just like, oh, did we make a bad decision? Like what are we doing? But then like everybody in my family was like, no, like you're here, so you have to do it, like like we all flew there. So like having the support, um I think one thing is like super huge, and just like having like them like by my side and by like all of my friends side was so incredible. And so like going through that fear was like on Mount Whitney, like I literally had a moment where like my body kind of went numb and I was like just kind of stuck on a rock, and like I was in a really bad mental state, and like and then I climbed on another rock and then I fell, and it was just kind of like what the hell am I doing? Like and so like I mean it was just like I like to pull it together. Like I'm so thankful for like literally my entire like team, because like I wouldn't been able to get through it. Like they were handing me like these like goo things, and then they were like, "It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." And I literally just like sat on this like not even sat. I was like stuck to this rock, like. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like literally, that's what I was telling myself, and just having that support, and then thinking of my family. Like, cool. Like they said I was gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. So like, I mean, it definitely took myself like quite a few minutes to like gather it, to like to like get back together. But
Yeah.
like I mean we did it, and then I got through it, and after that I was like super thankful, because like I mean without that fear and without like that support, I didn't realize like damn, like look how like look at what I have. Like I have family, I have friends, like what else do I need really? Like you know what I mean? It just like really puts things into perspective.
Yeah, so let's delve a little bit deeper. What in the lead up to where you were just stuck on that rock, paint us a picture of, you know, how far in the hike were you at that point?
Um, we were, oh God, we were probably like halfway through. So it was, okay, so it was the first portion. So we took the Mountaineers route up and then we took the Sander route down. So it was like halfway through the Mountaineers portion, which was like 4 to 5 miles in. Um, and like it's a 6,000 vert in 8 miles. Like that's it was a lot, like, and so like, but also too, I only got like an hour and a half of sleep or 2 hours. Like I was sleeping and then my friend woke me up and she was like, "Hey, we need to go to the store." And I was like, "We're not going to the store." She's like, "We need to go to the store." And I was like, "Oh shit." And so like I was only like literally I only got an hour and a half of sleep. And like also too, like I was like just like worried because like we like found out my like dad tested positive and so I hugged him, so then I was like worried about that, and then I was worried about other people, and then like and none of us like felt anything, but I was like, I was like, oh shit, and then so I was really tired. I was falling asleep on the rock, and so it was just like there was just like a lot of things, and so like at that moment I was just like, oh, we're here. I think it kind of came to like, oh shit, we're doing this, like, and then like everything just like went still, and then I was like, I don't know how to move my body, like, and I was like, I've never experienced that. I'm pretty strong about it, and I was like, for once I was like, whoa, I've never experienced this on a mountain, this is crazy. But I was like, we need to get up, come on, get up. So eventually I started moving.
So just to clarify, a 6,000 foot climb over 8 miles, which is a lot to climb over 8 miles.
Hmm.
Um, and basically, about 4 miles in, as a result of not just your anxiety about, the COVID, but also the fact that you were so sleep deprived, um, you were just froze and out of fear. Was it scary as far as like some of the, I don't want to call it technique, but just that part of the climb? Was it pretty, did it seem pretty sort of dangerous to you at that point?
The climb didn't seem dangerous. I think
Mm.
like doing it was I was definitely capable of doing it. It was just like at that point it was just like the fact that I didn't feel capable. Like I knew that I was, but I didn't feel it in that moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. So basically, you had a moment, a strong moment of self-doubt.
There you go. That's good. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, fantastic. And you had an amazing team that basically, really looked out for you and were very, very supportive.
Hmm.
And I think in you sharing that, it sort of stresses, for me as an outsider, just the importance of a good partner, and then if you're lucky, a good team, as far as somebody who is non-judgmental, somebody who is encouraging. And if you're just starting out, somebody who is maybe a bit more skilled, but patient, and wants to sort of see you succeed and like has that nurturing spirit.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been very lucky to have people like that in my life. Like
Mm.
especially in this realm where again not everybody's doing it. Yeah, there's a ton of people doing it, but it's definitely like a niche. So like I'm like so thankful. Like I've literally like just called people and like, hey, like in terms of training, like, hey, like because I'm not a reader, like I'm just not a reader. I learned by like you teaching me. And so I've literally called people like, hey, what do I do? How do I prep for this? How do I get ready for this? What do I do? And so I've just had people tell me, or I've had people like walk me through things, or I've had people, like physically say, hey, like move your body like this during a climbing session, or so like yeah, definitely the people in your life matter. Like who you surround yourself with matters because like they're going to help you and you're going to help them. Like there's going to be a symbiotic relationship, and like without that, like there's no growing. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
like if you want to do something like this or whatever you want to do in life, painting, I don't know, like chess, playing chess for the, like, I don't know, like you're going to need something, you're going to need some sort of support. And so like, it's like you, you will have like certain people who support you mentally. And so you take that with you mountaineering. You have some people support you with technique. And so you take that with you mountaineering, and you have supporting you with like I don't know, like in other aspects you take that with you. And so like you take everything you learn from everything, like in everyday life you take with you, right? And so it's just like I don't know, just like something my dad always has always said: surround yourself with the right people because they will guide you in the right way. I'm like, okay, Bubba. But yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's like it's right. You know what I mean? It's like if I didn't have some really cool people helping me, I wouldn't have gone to Mount Whitney. I wouldn't have climbed, like Mount Baldy. I wouldn't have climbed Sound Going Warrior. Like it can go on and on and on because, like, damn, I didn't do it alone. You know?
Hell yeah. And you know what's really interesting is I believe from the bottom of my heart that I think people sort of, I think so. I'm very much a student of like the ego and sort of, how it gives us this perception, especially when it comes to accomplishments and like, oh, look at all this stuff that I did, right? And what I've realized is ultimately, as an exercise of like practicing killing the ego, is we are a product of our environment, right? So just like you said, you are a product of your environment. Now, what your dad, your Baba, the amazing advice that he gave, is that considering you're a product of your environment, it is your decision to choose who you surround yourself with, because that is what you're going to ultimately reflect,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so if you have a dream that you are serious or like a passion, then surround yourself with those people, build that environment, and you will magically you will find the motivation, you will find more inspiration, creativity, support, positive talk to
Mm-hmm.
just freaking do it, whatever it is, be it being a musician, painter, mountaineer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, you just learn like you don't want to be around these people, you want to be around these people. Like you said like you want people to reflect who you are. And like I have many facets of myself, and like mountaineering is definitely a big one. And so like if I can surround myself with some like really rad mountaineers, damn, life would be so cool.
Yeah.
Like
And it's really interesting that you said that the kind of learner that you are is not like most people, where most people would read or whatever. You sort of need to learn by being told. And I could perceive that being um challenging. And so how do you step out of your comfort zone to sort of summon the courage to ask people, where a lot of times people in their head would be like, oh my God, I don't want them to think that I'm like this, that I can't read and look this up for myself. Like, how do you do that? Or have you struggled with that?
Um, no, I don't have a lot of struggles with asking or like in terms of communicating like how I learn. I mean, sometimes like you kind of like you butt heads for lack of a better word with people that like who are teaching you, but then you say, "Hey, like this is just how I learn. Do you mind if you try teaching me this way. But no, overall, it's more like I just try to be upfront, like, hey, I would like for you to give me kind of a lesson, and then I like to go about it with whoever is gonna like help me, and then like. And then if I'm struggling, then I like to ask the question, like, help me, or how do I do this? I don't really like to be told because I just want to be able to like figure it out. I'm the type of person where I just want to be able to do it until I can't figure it out. Then I'm like, all right, will you help me? Like I know
Yeah.
how to do it, but if I don't try it on my own, then like I'll never really like figure it out. You know what I mean? And if I do figure it out on my own, that gives me like more encouragement to do like other things, for example. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, Yasemin, I can't tell you what an inspiring chat it's been today to spend, this time with you. And I feel deep down in my heart that whoever tunes in, now or 100 years from now, will be moved in some way as a result of you making the time to share this part of your life with us, and I can't thank you enough for this. Is there anything that you'd like to share before we close?
Um, Whatever you want to do, whenever you figure it out, just do it and keep doing it. Like, don't be afraid, because being afraid holds you back. And like, without a little bit of mistake, you'll never accomplish anything. So don't be afraid to fail. Keep moving forward. Always have a dream and goal in mind, because life is nothing but your dreams and hopes coming true. I promise you they will. Just like you said, it's all about manifestation. You work really, really hard for it. You can do it. Anything you set your mind to.
You know, just in that moment, I was like, I just saw you. You just sounded like you were a mom talking to me as like your kid, cause your voice slowed down and you were, enunciating, and you were like, you were talking in this like loving, nurturing manner.
Did that happen? Oh, literally, and when I became 30, I became such a mom. It's terrible.
It's not terrible. Please take that back. It's
Okay,
beautiful. It's beautiful.
I just
It's
was joking.
beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it came from out of nowhere.
Oh my God, but aren't those the most beautiful things that just like magic come out of nowhere?
Yeah, really. Oh my God, that was so good. Thank you for that.
Oh, you betcha. And lastly, I want to thank our audience for just being amazing and tuning in. And until the next episode, love and light. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.